Hello everyone, so today we're going to be learning about area. So what is area? Well, the area is the total amount of surface that a 2D shape covers. And what does that mean? Well, it means that we're talking about the inside of a shape and how much area there is inside. Okay, so not like yesterday. Yesterday we were talking about perimeter, and perimeter is the outside of a shape, okay? So for example, if this was a football field, okay, we would use perimeter in order to figure out how long of a fence we need to build around the football field. All right, but the area helps us figure out how much grass we might need in order to cover the entire space, okay? So how big is our football field? That is the area. All right, so the area is measured in square units. All right, so you know those little twos that you see sometimes floating on top of numbers? Well, this is squared, okay? So if we're measuring a smaller object or space, we would be using squared centimeters. If we were measuring something larger, like our classroom, we would be using squared meters. Now, if we were measuring something like a football field or a stadium, then we'd be measuring in squared kilometers. Okay, so don't forget the little floating 2 when we're using area. All right, so an easy way to figure out area is to, well, if you have 1 centimeter square dot paper, okay, or square paper, sorry, then you can easily calculate the area by counting all of the squares inside of a shape. So if it's not a perfect rectangle, this is one way to figure out the area. Okay, but we do have a perfect rectangle here. And if some of you might already have noticed that this looks like an array when we do multiplication and use arrays, right? So if we just use what we know about arrays, we can easily calculate an area just by multiplying. So we know that this side is 10 centimeters long and this side is 3 centimeters long. So if we multiply them, we get 30 centimeters square, or 30 squared centimeters, which we know is the same as counting all of the boxes inside, right? So that's an easy way to figure out. Just use your knowledge of arrays. Okay, so down here in this blue one, we've got 6 squares here, or rectangles, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on this side, right? So if we just multiply it like an array, we have 7 times 6, which equals 42 squared centimeters. So the area of this shape is 42 squared centimeters, okay? And the area of this shape was 30 squared centimeters, okay? All right, so what if you don't have a perfect rectangle? Well, sometimes we've got to break things up then. This skill is a little bit of an extra challenge, so we don't actually have to learn this, but some of our challenge work will use this knowledge, okay? So let's try to find rectangles and squares within our objects, okay? So we know that this here is 10 centimeters, right? What if we broke this up and we made this a rectangle? Like that, right? So if we know what we know about rectangles, then we know if this is 10 centimeters, then this length here is also 10 centimeters, right? And if this is 3 centimeters, we also know that this is 3 centimeters. So if we went 10 centimeters times 3 centimeters, we would get 30 centimeters squared, or squared centimeters, right? So the area of this rectangle would be 30 squared centimeters. Now let's figure out this. So what we know about squares is that they're all the same sides, but this is not a square, is it? Because we've got 7 here and 6 here, which means it tells us it's a rectangle. So if we have 7 centimeters on this side, then this length here must also be 7 centimeters, right? If this is 6 centimeters, then this side must also be 6 centimeters. So all we have to do is multiply 6 by 7. So if we go 6 centimeters times 7 centimeters, we get 42 squared centimeters, right? So all we have to do is add these two together. So 30 plus 42 equals 72, right? So the area of this entire entire shape, okay, this whole shape is 72 squared centimeters.